mics ignite. Phantoms clash, they shine so bright. From galaxies to fantasy planes, we're geeking out, it's ingrained. It's EP8, we're hooked for sure. Talking passion, pure and more. Movies, comics, games collide in this retro neon ride.
Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 8 of Geek8. I'm going to just jump straight into it and go over to my co-hosts, Nerdy Geezer Lee and Retro Chef, also Lee, and just check in on how you guys are. Nerdy Geezer, how are you doing, my friend, on this lovely, well, not lovely, but grey day, I'll say.
Yeah, the weather's a bit miserable where we are, isn't it?
Not great, is it? It's still warm, but like classic London weather where it's grey but humid. And you're like, ugh.
Yeah. I put a vest on, shorts on, and then you look outside and it looks like it's going to chuck it down, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. It's not great. Otherwise, you okay, my friend?
Yeah, not bad. I've had some time off work. Unfortunately, I'm back at work tomorrow, but yeah, I've had some time off, which has been nice.
Good, jolly good. And of course, let's go over to Chef. Chef, how are you, sir?
Well, very well. Living the dream, as always.
Nice. The audience can't see what I can see, but I've just got two gentlemen in front of me with the die-hard wife beaters on.
Yes.
I mean, maybe it's a good thing this is audio only. I don't know where people sit on this topic, but luckily it's only audio only. I will save everyone their graces by that. So yeah, here we are, episode 8, still rambling on, talking about all things in our hobbies. Yeah, what I thought I'd do is maybe come to you first, Nerdy Geezer Lee, because you had a bit of an outing to talk about. So why don't you take us through where you've been?
Yeah, so a couple of weekends ago, I went to something called the Hawkinge TV, Film and Comic-Con. And so it's only a small event. It's not like the massive Comic-Cons that you normally see. But that made it better because you was able to get around. It wasn't too packed. You could talk to people, like people had time for you. It was just a lot more of an intimate setting, if you get my meaning. Like I had plenty of conversations with cosplayers, vendors. There was people there, like famous people signing as well, although some of them not so great, but I'll go into that in a bit more detail in a bit. But yeah, it was a really good afternoon. I say afternoon because, I mean, it's not something you could really spend the entire day at. Although it was a 2-day event, so there might have been something different on the Sunday. But yeah, people in cosplay really into their roles, which was quite funny. I've got a little story about that I'll tell you guys in a minute. But yeah, it was just fun. I really enjoyed it. And like we've noticed, like with Sandown, for example, a great atmosphere, a nice vibe, very welcoming. Everyone's very friendly. Of course, we've all been to events in the past where it's not always like that. So it was nice to see that we're not wrong, or it wasn't a one-off with Sandown. It's obvious in certain circles it's different to others. So yeah, it was a nice day, afternoon, if you like.
Nice. Yeah. Is it an official, like obviously like the big ones in London, like the MCM Comic Cons and stuff like that, or was it a more local event, like sort of, I don't know. Was it one of those?
I don't know. I mean, it was in a community centre.
Okay.
So I would have thought it was more of a local thing, like maybe not official as such. But like I said, I mean, they had people signing, and so some of them were kind of like, oh, he was a stormtrooper in The Mandalorian. And I thought, well, for one, I'm not a massive fan of Disney Star Wars. Number two, you could just say that. I don't know that. You've got a helmet on. I can't see your face.
I was definitely a stormtrooper in any of the Star Wars. Even the ones before I was born, I was definitely one of the stormtroopers.
Yeah, exactly. You know, but there was one guy, and unfortunately, when I actually got back round to him, he'd gone. And that was the guy who played Green Leader in Return of the Jedi. That's the guy that goes screaming and crashes straight into the bridge of Darth Vader's Super Star Destroyer. He's played by a guy called Hilton McRae. He was there, and he doesn't look much different. I mean, obviously he's older, but doesn't look much different. And yeah, I was a bit gutted because I wanted to look around the stalls, buy what I wanted, and see what I had left. And if I still had some money on me, get something signed by him. And unfortunately, he'd gone by then, so he's probably packed up early because he's going to come back on the Sunday. So, yeah, I was a little bit gutted. It was a shame I didn't get an autograph from him. So
Nice.
yeah,
you've just given me a great idea for a potential scam, which is going to one of these events, sitting up a little table and saying, "Yeah, I was the stormtrooper on Hoth, and this is a picture of me in my full gear. Like, it's definitely me. Prove me wrong that it's not me. £5 a signature, please, sir. That would be lovely."
Well, I've got a funny story on that guy, right? Because when we walked in, he jumped us straight away when we walked in, and I actually thought he was a bit of a nutcase. Like I wasn't sure who he was. He just sort of come walking up, and he's like, "You all right?" Like that, and I was like, "Yeah," but he was kind of talking to you like he knew you, you know. So I'm thinking like, "Yeah, I'm all right. Who are you?" That's what I'm thinking. Like, and then he went, "That's me." Like that, started pointing at the pictures. And I'm thinking, right, this guy's a lunatic. What's going on here? You know. And of course, then I realised I was like, "Oh, he's trying to tell me that's him. That is actually him." So yeah, but then it was. I think it was all a bit sort of weird. So conversation after that sort of went downhill. You know.
Yeah.
So I quickly moved on, but. Yeah, it was a way because he jumped us when we walked in. I wasn't expecting it. I thought, like, who the hell is this guy? Like, you know. But yeah, it's quite funny.
Nice. What else was there? Was it mostly obviously comics and movies, and like what other sort of stuff was there, or was it mostly stalls, or what sort of thing was there if you went?
So for starters, the comic part, I want to point that out because it's a Comic-Con, right? But there weren't many people selling comics, which was funny. So probably about 4 stalls. There were quite a few selling comic book art, and if I don't know if you guys saw my video, but you would have seen what I picked up there. James Gray was a guy I had a good conversation with, and I picked up his art book. He's does a lot of comic work for IDW, so it was typical. I went to his stall, and he'd just gone for a bathroom break, so I had to wait for him to come back, but it was well worth it. Lots of stalls selling, figures and that. I was quite surprised at how much Star Wars there was there. I actually thought you could easily walk in and confuse it with a Star Wars convention. There was loads of it. Cosplayers, as I said, had a good chat with a young lad that had built a mouse droid, which of course is the little wheelie thing that the stormtroopers follow. And he basically told me how he built it, took it all apart, showed me it, and that, nice lad. And then we had the famous White Walker guy that Kara made the mistake of saying he's got creepy eyes, and so he then went on to follow us around and stare at her for the rest of the afternoon, which I found highly amusing, and not so much. So there was a bit where he was having a photo with 2 teenagers, and basically, as they went to take the photo, he went to bite the young teenager on the neck, and she jumps out of her skin. Okay. It was hilarious to watch. There was a guy in a Chewbacca costume, and he must have had stilts in it because, man, he was tall, really tall. If you look at my video, you'll see a picture of him sitting on reception, and he just dwarfs reception where he was so big. So, yeah, it was really good. Like I say, I picked up a few bits, a nice Dinobot I was after. I had a good conversation with that guy. As you know, Martin, there was a guy selling like 3D printed Warhammer guns and stuff like that. Yeah, a good all-round thing. One of the conversations Carr had with a guy was he used to be an artist, and he'd lost the ability to be able to draw still because his hands weren't as steady. So now what he was producing was something called dot art. So all of these images that you could see, and they were fantastic, were all made up of like millions of little tiny dots because it's all he could do now. But just really good, and I would have got something had I have not spent as much, but maybe for the future. And then there was one that was doing art by layering paper, and that was quite clever as well, because if you're using white, greys, and black papers, they were creating the shadows on the faces and that, and it sort of, when you looked at it, it was like a 3D image, really clever, really clever. So yeah, there was a lot to take in for such a, like I say, it was a small, intimate event, but a lot to take in, and it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. It was good.
You do see a lot of that now when you go to conventions and stuff. A lot more craft type stuff, either 3D printed or hand painted or sculptured, or like the dot art stuff, the 3D paper stuff, all these sorts of things. you see more and more of that at these things. I think that's probably because people are trying to, lots of entrepreneurs trying to, find a way to get what they enjoy and love out there to be sold and make some money from it. So certainly with 3D printing, you see an awful lot of, no matter what type of event you go to, there's always someone who's doing a 3D printed something. Yeah, I always feel a bit tough about those ones because I always think I could really buy it and it was really cool, but I have 3D printers, so I should really 3D print it myself if I'm gonna do it. But the bolt gun you sent a picture of, which is on your video, which looks super cool. So it is.
Yeah. I mean, some of them were where he'd adapted Nerf guns, so they were actually firing Nerf bullets, and I thought some of them looked really good because that one I showed you was the smaller one. He had a massive one, like the huge rifle that they carry. And I thought that was really impressive to see, but it was hung up, so I couldn't actually reach it. I could only look at it, but it looked pretty cool. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, and obviously we've just had, I didn't actually go, but we just had the big Comic-Con in London, literally this weekend. My boys went, James went dressed as Chainsaw Man. He's got a really good Chainsaw Man costume. It cost an absolute fortune that he bought with his passing his exams money. That was what he spent his exams money on, was buying a Chainsaw Man costume. Blake went, I'm going to get this name terribly wrong, but Hatsumiku or something. It's a character. Lee might laugh if I've got that massively wrong, but it's like a Japanese music character, I think. I don't know. I'm not even going to try because I now sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, which is fair, to be fair. But yeah, he went as that character, and then he's got friends that have gone as different characters as well. So they love the whole cosplaying idea, and they're already talking about what they're going to go next year and so on. So I think that's what these Comic-Cons end up becoming. They're more of a cosplaying event than anything else now. It's almost weird if you go there and you're not dressed up, certainly the big ones. Yeah. Excellent. Sounds like you had a cracking time. So definitely one you'd recommend for people to go if they want something a bit smaller, a bit more local, a bit more friendly than say the big events.
Yeah, I definitely think you two need to come along next time. I mean, Chef would have enjoyed it. There was plenty there. I mean, it was even like football trading cards. Like, Connor picked up a trading card that was graded. So, cool. Yeah, you would have enjoyed it, Chef. There was plenty of things there I think you would have liked as well.
Yeah.
When's it on again, mate?
Yeah.
I can only imagine it's a yearly thing. I haven't actually looked into it, to be fair. So I'll have a look. I'll find out. But yeah, I think you would have enjoyed it. Like, yeah, you both would have, to be fair. There was something for everybody there. So yeah.
Really funny you mentioned football training cards. This is a complete tangent that we wasn't expecting to talk about. Because I've really enjoyed the football season this year, and I'm not going to go into football, but it has made me want. It has made me want. Here we go. I know. I'm not going to go into it, but it has made me want to do the old next season, the Panini sticker album with my youngest kid. Like, actually buy the stickers and try and do it. And I think that's such a lost thing. Doing, I don't know. When was the last time one of you guys ever did a sticker album or something? It must be donkey's years, right? I assume, but I really fancy doing a Panini sticker album with him. Oh, Chef, go on, Chef, please. Sounds like you have a story.
I do every Euro and every World Cup one, but Brilliant. I don't share it with anyone. Like, no one knows this because, like, when I go to the shop and can I buy some, like, you buy the stickers, people look at you like, especially when you go to Tesco's and you've got about 40 packets and you're buying them, innit?
Do you know what? I wouldn't even feel embarrassed doing that. I wouldn't care. Like, I seriously wouldn't care. I'd just go and buy them. Because we did the Match Attack books. So
nice.
He's still got them. He's got a couple of them. One of them he completed. We had to pick up the rest he needed online. But I don't know if you remember also when they were doing the Lego ones with Sainsbury's, I think.
Yes,
we did them as well. Ones. Yeah.
Nice.
I
find it so funny, Chef, that you find it embarrassing to buy football stickers when we're surrounded by the most nerdiest stuff on the planet. Like,
not embarrassing, but like just like 43-year-old buying stickers. Like,
mate, I walk into the Entertainer and look at the toys, mate. I don't care.
Yeah,
honestly,
I do. Like, I've got no shame. Like, I frequently go to these shops and pick up the foam swords and beat up my kids with them when I'm in Smiths or in the Entertainer. That's a standard. But like, I was a bit like, Yeah, with the stickers hiding a minute, you know.
Chef, maybe you need to do next year's Premier League Panini stickers, and then we can trade.
We'll
we can trade our shinies. Yeah, we can.
What
we can trade our
we're doing
shinies.
New stream. That's it. You heard it here first. It's the new stream of the Panini 2025-2026 with the Hobby Lodge and the Retro.
Yeah,
all right.
Exactly. We can trade our doubles and our shinies. I'll give you 5 doubles for a shiny or whatever it was, whatever the going rate was back in the day.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, shinies were always worth more, weren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Do you remember the old WWF ones back in the day? You used to get the shinies with them, didn't you?
Oh,
they
yeah.
were really good. Yeah.
So I've still got one of my Street Fighter sticker books. It's a blue one. It's in my loft now. I got a Transformers one, which is my brother's. I've got quite a few of my original Panini Premier League ones. But the wrestling one, I've got I think there's 2 or 3 wrestling ones. Well, like when I was younger, I think I've got one of them. But they can fetch like you go on eBay and they can fetch like a bit of money with or without stickers in them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so, again, it's another rabbit hole, right? Because then you're not far away from trading cards and all the rest of it. Garbage Pail Kids, Batman. It's another massive hole to fall down, isn't it? But
that's the funny thing with that weekend, right? Because Cara don't normally buy things, but she bought a flocked Gizmo Funko Pop with the 3D glasses, right? And Connor walked away with a football trading card, and I thought, see, you do collect stuff. It's just got to be the right stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I've turned them both into collectors now, I think.
Nice.
Love it.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, let's keep it on a sporting theme. It's like this thing's almost planned, or I don't know. We seem to have seamless links in between. But keeping in a sporting theme, Chef, you've had a bit of a sporting weekend. So why don't you talk about what you got up to?
Yeah, so normally June is like a busy golfing extravaganza with my friends from outside of the tubes, from my school friends and some of like my brother's friends. We normally go away for like 2 or 3 days in May, normally the bank holiday weekends, either end the first weekend or the last weekend bank holiday, and we just come back from the Belfry, which, if you don't know, is probably, I would say, top 3 UK golf courses by 100 miles. I mean, it's held the Ryder Cup there in 2002 and 93 and like 4 other times. It's I'm a golfer, by the way, just in case people were listening and thinking, what is he talking about? Yeah, so I got to go away and play, and it's for something that's not just a group of mates playing. It's very, very a professional level, should we say? People take this to the extremes. I mean, even with what you're wearing, your attire, even I'm the same, and with your golf clubs. Yeah, it was a great couple of days. I've never played the Belfry before, so yeah, it was awesome. And when I was there, I got to meet Peter Finch, who's a fellow YouTube content creator. He was there for a celebrity golf day sponsored by Turkish Airlines. Not that I'm sponsored by him, but I'm letting you know who was sponsored by him. And there was all sorts: Marcus Rashford, Danny Mills. There was loads of professional golfers. But yeah, it was we got to see them, and I got a picture with him. So I'll share it with Martin, so Martin can insert it. Me and Peter.
Yeah,
Finch.
that's true. Actually, I will do. Yeah,
I'll do that. Even though I look a bit Chinese in the picture with my eyes. But yeah, like it was a great weekend. I come 5th this year. I normally come a bit higher. I think I was a bit ill. I'm going to put myself down to my illness, why I didn't perform as well. That's what I'm going to put down to. Plus, I was not long before that we played at the tournament. I bought a new driver and a new putter, which is never a good thing to do before you go to a tournament. You should, have time to practice, which I did practice. But I've got a lovely putter, TaylorMade Spider GT with a Jason Friday the 13th Voorhees grip on it. I love it to pieces, but I need to get used to. But anyway, yeah, it was a great weekend. We had a great time, and I'm away again. Oh, well, I'm away. I'm one day. We're doing our Ryder Cup with all my friends, where we all get together again, and we split into groups. And it's America against Europe, and I'm in Team Europe this year with my brother and a few friends. So I need to get back on it. But since coming home, I've sold my driver because I wasn't happy with it. I literally sold it the next day. Someone come to collect it. because I wasn't happy with the performance, even though it's got nothing to do with the equipment. It's obviously me. But yeah, I just couldn't. I didn't feel as good as I normally would do. But it's my own fault for changing, my driver before a tournament. But yeah, it was a great time. I was very quiet with you guys and everyone else because I was in the zone, trying to be in the zone anyway. But yeah, it's a good laugh.
Anyone chuck a club in the river? That's always saying someone does it on golf thing. Someone chucks a club somewhere. So
we had a buggy nearly went into one of the lakes because there's 3 golf courses at Belfry. There's the Brabazon, which is it's world famous. The Brabazon is where Tiger Woods on the 10th hole drove his tee shot to the actual pin to putt it in. It's quite a famous one. I tried to do it. I failed, obviously, but it's a great course. There's the PGA course, and the other ones escaped me now, the other name. But yeah, there's 3 courses there, and the Brabazon's got loads of water. Literally, there's water everywhere. So you got to be really precise with shots, and you have to be precise of where you park your buggy as well. Because one of my friends didn't put the brake on, and it was like literally itching over. It was hilarious. And they got GPS in the buggies, so the buggy alarm was going off because it was saying you're getting close to the water, and yeah, it was quite funny at the time. But yeah, but no broken clubs.
Okay,
lots of lost balls. Lots of lost balls. I took 50 balls. I think I come home with 10.
Oh wow!
I lost a lot of balls, like just on the water. It was just, like that makes me sound like I'm terrible at golf. I'm not terrible at golf at all, but it was a very, very tough. The Brabazon course was super tough. It really pushed me. Normally, I'm a lot better, but it's all good. It's all part of the fun.
Whenever I think of golf, I'm always thinking of Happy Gilmore. That's my favorite golfing movie.
Yeah, they're making number 2 of that. Like either it's out or it's coming out. But there's lots of other good golf films. I mean, there's is it Tin Cup with Kevin Costner? That's actually quite a good one.
You're right. Yeah,
there's a few. There's one with Shia LaBeouf. He's setting up oldie moldy times. There's one with Will Smith. There's not really like a blockbuster golf movie out there, I don't think, like an Arnold Schwarzenegger playing golf.
It's a bit of an odd thing to make a dramatic film out of, though, isn't it? Really, I mean, maybe if they did say like a Tiger Woods movie or something, maybe. But yeah,
I mean, Van Damme did it. Van Damme did it with ice hockey. So why can't it be done with golf? Because the best Van Damme movie, as everyone knows, is Sudden Death.
That film is so bad. Oh my god, that was on TV the other day, and I was, oh my god. Just while you're talking about Van Damme, there's a film I saw a trailer for, and it's called The Gardener, and he's some sort of ex-assassin. He's a gardener.
Yeah,
I thought it was a joke. He's sharpening.
It looks terrible.
He was sharpening like the trowel, and I'm thinking, what the hell is that? I'll have to watch it, obviously. But I was just like, what is this? Sorry, talking about Van Damme. Anyway, golf was great.
First thing I thought seeing that thing about the gardener was that it was similar to a lot of Jason Statham films that are coming out now, where it's like the beekeeper and all that crap. What's names for things?
Martin Lee, what's that film where the guy looks like Charles Bronson and he's also like a housekeeper? Have you seen that film? He looks like it's a new film.
Wow, that's really vague. Like,
I'm so sorry. He looks like Charles Bronson, as in from Death Wish, and he's like a housekeeper. I'm not even joking. The guy is a ringer. I'll have to find it afterwards.
I thought for a moment you meant the Nobody films, because there's a new one of that coming out, isn't there? Where it's just an ordinary guy.
Yeah, no, this is. I'll have to find it, and it's proper cheese fest. Right up Lee Street. It's perfect.
Well, look, this is also my confession on golf, and actually Lee kind of shares this. Nerdy Geezer shares this as well, in that I live literally 5 minutes, if not less than 5 minutes from an actual golf course, and have never played golf. So live on air, I'm asking you, Chef, to give me some golf lessons at some point over there.
I am going to come over. I don't know if it's going to, people say it's a very soothing game. It ain't. It's not like, honestly, like I can tell you, it's not like, but it's awesome when you're able to hit the ball and not lose a ball and confidently hit it and place where you want to play. It is a good feeling. I'm not going to lie to you. And it's, I've been playing for an extremely long time now. I don't want to, like, not a professional level, no way at all. But I've got myself down to single digits with my handicap before. Now I'm not. I'm probably like playing off like 14 or 15. But I know if I play more, I can get it down. I was pretty good, like compared to my friends and stuff. But there's always someone better. And when you watch it on TV, some of them, like Bryson DeChambeau, is unreal. I mean, the guy is just a monster. But it's a great sport. I do enjoy it. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but I've been doing it for a long time. So yeah.
I'm not really a fan. I mean, back when because I've not always been a saint. Back when I was younger, I used to enjoy hitting golf balls with a club, at people, but never playing golf. So
that's always a great sport. That one,
it's much better. The targets move, But but Connor enjoys it. He goes over there all the time. He's got his own clubs and he goes over there. Yeah.
You sounded exactly like Eddie Murphy then in Beverly Hills Cop, where he says, when I was younger, I did an infraction or two. That's exactly what you just said then. You was like, I wasn't always a saint. I did it's like, when I was younger, I broke the odd law or such when I was younger. That's like Eddie Murphy movie.
I think it would have been better, Lee, if you just said there. If maybe mine could rewind and you say, when I use someone's head as the club. That might have been a little bit more, just a little, a bit more explosive stories to the conversation.
I always feel like I have to say that before I say anything. Although I don't know why I do it, because I think most people can probably tell when they meet me that I was never an angel when I was younger. So
you had an infraction or two when you were younger, exactly.
Yeah.
Right, brilliant. Well, look, in the spirit of going out and spending time out, I also went to an event. I went to ZZAP 2025, which was up Birmingham Way, and is, in case people don't know, ZZAP is an old and is still new today magazine focused on all things Commodore. So whether that's Commodore 64 or Commodore Amiga, and it's no surprise to anybody that I'm a big lover of all things Commodore. I thought for me and my youngest son, actually, we had a sort of random day where we were at a bit of a loose end. We saw that this event was on, so we drove up. It's about a 2.5 hour drive, so it's a bit of a trek. And it was I think it's been, I don't know how long it's been back for. I think it's been back for a number of years. It's a 2-day event. We actually went up on the second day, which was the Sunday, and it was in a Holiday Inn. I'm pretty sure it was a Holiday Inn hotel, like in all of their sort of like conference rooms that they have at hotels and stuff like that. So dotted around, I think it was about 4 or 5 rooms, quite small. The event's definitely small compared to some of the other events we've been to, like a Blackpool. What's the Blackpool event called? I can't remember. The Blackpool Retro event. Revival's the other one. Anyway, those sorts of things, those kind of retro gaming events, and we've all been to a number of them. But obviously because it was very, and I guess is the reason why it's small, was obviously it was focused around one particular platform. It was the Commodore platform and the various machines that come underneath that. We enjoyed the day. Quite a lot going on, which was nice to see, actually, lots of local computer clubs. So like the sort of northwest or north computer clubs coming together. I guess it's more Midlands, terrible geography, I know. But lots of computer clubs coming together, showing off the unique builds they'd done with various Amiga computers, or demos they'd built on Commodores, or people that had hooked up all sorts of additional peripherals like music centers and stuff like that. There was loads of talks from various game creators from back in the day, like Worms and other things like that. I think Jeff Minter was there on the Saturday. So if that's your bag, there was loads of that stuff going on where you could go and sit and talk or sit and listen. And if you could maybe get a conversation with them afterwards. But I think it was a good event. My issue with it, and I did do a video, and it's not issue, my difficulty with it was a very sort of niche event for people that are very, very into. I mean, I love Commodore, but I love it from a standpoint of playing it and using it and interacting with it. I've never been a developer for it. I've never been able to engineer for it, understand the engineering of it. And I think this was aimed more at those real, I guess you call them enthusiasts rather than hobbyists, as I would probably call myself. So very, very focused on that. Not very, even though it did have a small arcade with a few machines and it had a few dotted around sort of computers like a Super Nintendo and such. Obviously, majority of it was Commodore, and rightly so. But quite difficult for me with a small child to go and sit and listen to one of these talks, right? You know, they are, let's face it, beardy old guys talking about the love of these computer systems from back in the day, and I include myself in that beardy old guy. So it's not me having a dig at anyone. But if you can imagine being small people, you know, these talks can be quite dry, quite uninteresting, and they want to get out. So I did try and attend some of the talks, but it was really difficult with Clark. But we did enjoy walking around playing some games. There was Cytronics was there, which was nice. The disappointment is I pretty much own every Cytronic product that's been released, so there wasn't really much there for me, although I did pick up a couple of bits, which I showed on the video when I talked about it. I picked up actually a lot of music. I didn't realize that. I picked up 2 CDs filled with music, and one that had the history of Cytronics, and another one that was a cartridge with loads of really cool chip tunes on it and stuff. So yeah, a really, really nice event. Very niche. It felt like a great event to go to if you've got a number of friends in the hobby that you could then meet up with, you know, and have a really good weekend together rather than going individually or with family or anything like that. So it felt much more like that type of event, which I think we'd probably all agree a lot of the events we've been to recently, the event is not the point, it's the people at the event that's more the point, and the beers afterwards, the dinner afterwards, the meeting up beforehand. Yeah, I don't know if you guys want to jump in, but it feels like where I've got to with events at the moment is I'm not that fussed about the actual event now. It's more, can I meet people? And I know we've spoken about this. I don't, Lee, Nerdy Geeks, if you want to jump in maybe, because I know you're certainly aligned on this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for example, we was talking the other day, wasn't we, in the group about Revival, you know, and we were saying that, you know, Revival was okay, but I was expecting something like, I don't know, I was expecting more. And it's because a lot of people have told me they'd been to previous revivals and it was this massive, you know, magical, you know, Oz of gaming, you know. And I couldn't help but think when I got there, I was like, that wasn't what I was expecting, sort of thing, right? Now, this isn't me putting it down because I've got no frame of reference, but I do know from talking to people that one wasn't as good as past ones. And obviously, I've been to other events since and seen some great events, you know, elsewhere. So the thing with Revival, what made the weekend there for me wasn't the actual event. It was the fact that we rented an Airbnb and everybody met up in the evenings. And, you know, we played games, we had a drink, we sat around talking, watched bad movies. Like it was just really fun, wasn't it? And obviously a few of us met at the event as well. So for me, it was all about meeting people rather than the event. And yeah, I think that's something we definitely like realized, wasn't it? At Revival.
Yeah.
Whereas I would say with a couple of other events I've been to, obviously Hawkins Comic Con being one of them, them events were good. I don't want to say good because it makes it sound like I'm saying Revival was awful, right? I'm not saying that, but they were good in their own right. So if you then was meeting up with people as well, that would just make it like even better, like, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, I don't know what it was. I can't really put my finger on it, but I definitely think that the Revival weekend was it was, for me, the best parts were when we was walking around the town on the way to Revival, going around all the retro toy shops and Forbidden Planet and all that sort of stuff, you know, and then back at the Airbnb and not so much the event. So yeah, that's where I'm coming at it from, I think.
Yeah, and I think that's completely fairly. I know you're not saying it was a bad event, because let's face it, these events are probably, in fact, I know, ridiculously hard to put on, right? The organization that goes into it, all of the background work that goes on, getting vendors there, machines there, security, tickets, health and safety, food. Like, I mean, we all kind of dabble in some of this stuff. I organize events myself in work for occasion, and are incredibly hard to put on, right? Yeah, but I think it's sometimes some events maybe don't know the purpose of the event, and is it meant to be a more of a meetup than it is a showcase, or is it meant to be more of a market, or is it meant to be, you know, obviously London gaming market is clearly defined. It is a seller's thing, it is a retail thing, and that's why it's all that. There is no go and play area or go and, you know, talk, something like that. It's purely just for that. And I think sometimes some of these other events, it's not entirely sure what the purpose is, and therefore it tries to do maybe everything and doesn't necessarily massively succeed at any of them. It's just okay. Which then there goes, okay, well, actually the reason why I go is because it's a central place for us all to come to, because we're all dotted all over the country, and it's one of those times we can all meet up. And I think when I look at events going forward, that's going to be my you know, my driver behind it's going to be, actually, am I meeting up with everybody? Go to this, you know. Chef, what's your sort of view on sort of events and stuff?
I don't really like them personally, mainly because if you're going, the main reason why you're meant to be going is you're going there to purchase some items. All right, you're going there with a list of games or a list of products you want that are all overpriced. That's why I don't really go to a lot of them. I went recently to the London gaming market at Christmas time, and I just think it's overinflated. I don't feel like you're getting a deal. Yes, it's great to meet people, obviously, but I think there's a better way of doing it. You know, I just want to talk about something that's been on my mind for some time, and I haven't really spoke about it because I'm trying to do something, but with everything that goes on, it's awkward. But I was trying to sort out, and I've made a few inquiries about doing. Yeah, okay, I do swap shop, which is great, which is something that people do online, but just where I could say, let's get 50 tubers together, and we're all at a destination, and they can bring stuff and they can do trades and then they can have a drink and whatever. And it's none of this, oh, it's, you know, £50 a stall or it's £100 a stall. It's just, you know, you can rent out let's just say, for example, a local hall for probably £500. All right. Now, if there's 50 of you, it's nothing in it.
Yeah.
And then all you do is then, for example, is you get all the people who are like-minded, who you know, people that who've, for example, come on Swap Shop, who are willing to come and bring bits and pieces, sell bits and pieces, trade bits and pieces. And it makes it something where you'd meet and greet people, if you will, and you'll meet new people. And it's not under the illusion of where you're going to get robbed for your money and pay through the backside for stuff, which I think is where a lot of these events are going to. You know, we're in different group chats. I think there was one recently. Alex, Big Al's Arcade, was talking about he went somewhere and the prices for things were a joke, but people are still paying it, so people will still charge it. As long as people still going to pay it, they will charge it, unfortunately, because they don't know any different. You know, eBay can be crazy sometimes. Even going car boots can be tough enough. Facebook's another place. People struggle with certain things. But I think if we was able to say, right, you know, we're going to do a big meetup, bring whatever you want to bring and bring any drink you want to bring and meet. Like, I think that's just a more healthier way to do it. Shop live on tour.
Yeah. So this is what I was about to say. I think we've just heard an early announcement of Swap Shop Live 2026. I think maybe is, you know, do we hold you to this, Chef? Are we going to work on this? Maybe the podcast can have a live episode there. Who knows? It could be all sorts.
Yeah, well, this
sounds like a great idea.
You know, you think about it. I mean, I don't want to say I've spoke to a couple of places local to me just about hiring out their little hall or venue, and it's like next to nothing, long as we don't destroy it. It's okay. There's there's tea making facilities, there's toilets, but it's a group of people who can just come and not have to worry about. I don't know how to say. I'm not trying to undermine all these other people, what they've done. You know, hats off to them.
Yeah, exactly.
They had to start somewhere. They've had to start somewhere, and obviously we've all bought multiple amount of stuff from these places. I have, but back in the day before it got crazy prices, you know, you're paying 40 pounds minimum for a Super NES box game and a rubbish one at that. You know, like before. And this is like the old times. You were getting decent for 40 quid. You could get a Zombie Ate My Neighbors, really nice condition one. You know, dare I say, even a Sunset Riders for 40 quid. Now you're talking hundreds and which is, I totally get that. I understand. But I think if there's ways of doing it where it's not so much aggro, it'd be interesting to see how some of these companies, you know, how sore thumbs, if they was to come to such an event and they haven't got to pay for a table, what would they charge? Because you think about how much they hike up stuff. And I'm saying that name. I'm not saying they have. I'm just saying it because that's somewhere that I've.
I totally get it. But I do love that idea of a community-driven event, right? Because then I think pricing, you know, it's I don't want to say it's mates rates, but that is what you'd want to have, right? Because ultimately we're all trying to build our collections. We all have a passion about it. We're not there trying to run a business, and that's where they've got to come from, right? These guys have got overheads, they've got the shop, the staff, all that jazz, which absolutely they have to make money on. But if it's a bunch of us and we haven't got that worry, then we can help each other out by doing mates rates, pricing, etc. So I think it's a super interesting idea, mate, and I think there'll definitely be.
I need Lee for security. Lee security, obviously, the muscle. I need Martin for the IT intellectual side, and you need me for the looks, obviously.
What about the catering?
I can't cook and rob people of their games while I'm there, innit? You got to bring in hands so I can rob their Amigas off them, innit?
You can knock up a mean jacket potato, mate. I'm sure you know. You could,
very dangerous jacket potato. But it's just something I've been toying with, and I've not even said it to you two, and I speak to you two more than like most people. To be fair, like daily, and I've just kind of kept it to myself because I don't know what the best angle is. Because, like I said, I'm not trying to bamboozle or kazump these other companies. I just think if you said there was 34, I mean, I know for a fact when I do a swap shop, there's 6 of us, including me, right? Obviously, but there's sometimes I could get 10 people on the stream because there's a lot of people want to get involved, and obviously then it's too much. And I get that. That's why I always keep it to 6, including me. Otherwise, it just gets a bit silly. But if you're saying, right, on this Saturday, we're all going to meet up somewhere, and there's 50 of you, and everyone brings a tub of stuff, and then it's just something that's been in my head because I think the way these markets can go, it just gets a bit out of hand.
Well, I think the best way, like moving forwards, if you are thinking of doing this, is start off small, and then you can build up from there, can't you? See how it goes with a small one first, and if it works, then don't you?
Yeah,
I'll give you a quick little prime example before we move on, because I know I've been talking fluff. But when you watch, like, for example, Retro Ghetto's most recent video, he always talks about the car park deals, and that's 100% true. Every time that I've been to an event or I've been to someone's house for a meetup, the car boot, the boot's getting open, then there's money being changing hands. There's deals being done because there's and it's prime example. I've seen it recently on Callum's channel. So there's definitely traction there.
Yeah,
a community-based thing.
And even when we meet up, how often do we then come home with stuff?
God.
Like I met up with Scott Sega Zombie at the weekend, and I've come home with a new thing, and same same with Lee and everyone else. Like I think that, and it does feel better because you're putting money in your pockets of your mates and your community rather than store. And we need stores. I'm not trying to, again, don't want to take away from stores. We have to have those local run stores. Are super important. The Retro Realms and all these sorts of things. They are absolutely vital that those things exist. But I think there's still room to have a community event, you know, and have that happen there. So look, this is my shout out to the audience listening to this. If you want to see a swap shop live 2026, make your mark below somewhere. Either hit a button or something, or hit a comment and say yes, I'm in for swap shop live. Because I think we can manifest this if we all get behind it. I think that'd be an amazing thing. And actually, it'd be really nice to have an event this end of the world because they're all up north normally. So something in Essex way would be
tired. I'm sick and tired of going to Middle Earth, you know, the realm, you know, whatever the outreaches of Sarlax Mountain to whatever. I'm sick and tired of it. You know, there needs to be an Essex one.
I'm to keep getting on that M1, up north. It's rough up there.
Well, you know, it is a message for Ginger Hippie Gaming. Si, I'm onto him when he said the other day, "Oh, let's go to NEC Toy Fair in Birmingham." And I thought, yeah, that's round the corner from you. What about a Sandown that's closer to me? Like, yeah, I know.
He can see it from his living room. He can see it from his living room. I've seen the photos. He could just go out in his pajamas.
That's it.
Right, Swap Shop Live. Let's get some traction on this. Let's make this happen. Swap Shop Live 2026. Let's throw some energy in it and see where it goes. All right. Let's keep trucking on this one. Lee, you've been watching Nerdy Geezer Lee. You've been watching some Star Wars that you actually like, which I think shock horror for this podcast might be the first time you talk about something you like in current world Star Wars. So why don't you go on?
In Disney Star Wars, we should be specific. Disney Star Wars. I like everything that isn't Disney. Right. Credit where credit's due, though. So most of you know I hate Disney Star Wars, with the exception of Rogue One. And you also know that I didn't think Andor season 1 was too bad. It was a slow burn, but it felt like Star Wars. You know, I wouldn't say it was massively exciting. It was in places, but it just felt like Star Wars. And for once, we was watching a show where the Empire actually looked like a threat, unlike most of Disney Star Wars, where they make them look like buffoons who can't shoot properly and fall over a lot, right? When you forward on to season 2, right now we've got a season of, I think it was it 8 episodes? No, 12 episodes, and each 3 episodes is its own story arc. So each time we get out of 3 episodes, we jump a year, and by the end of it, we're leading into the start of Rogue One, right? And I'm going to try and do this as best I can without spoiling anything. All right, okay. It's been out a while now. Most people have watched it, but what I'm going to say with this season, it's almost a shame that this was the last season, right? Because I think it had potential to have numerous seasons, and I think it would have been really good. It kind of, the only thing I'd say where they were doing 3 episodes, right? In places, it seemed like it was a bit rushed. It could have been drawn out a bit more over an entire season, right? But then you also had an arc like the first 3 episodes of season 2. They're not great. They're very slow, terrible pacing. Lots of time around a wedding, which when I was watching, I was like, why do I need to see this? I don't really need to see this. You could have probably explained this with a line of text somewhere, you know? So, so it's not, this is the thing, it's not perfect, right? I mean, there was disco music in Star Wars. I don't know. That's a Disney thing, clearly. That was something I really didn't like. But for the most part, it was good. And I'm going to have to kind of spoil a little bit to try and explain where I'm coming from with this, right? So there's a part in one of the episodes where the Empire have been manipulating the situation, right? They're basically trying to make these people on this planet look like the enemy, right? And how do you do that? Well, propaganda, right? So what they're trying to do is incite violence so that then they've got an excuse to take control of the planet, right? And there's a part where these people are walking into the local town square, city square, whatever you class it as, where there's like a kind of memorial to a disaster that happened, right? And as these people walk in, they're totally unaware of the fact that there are now stormtroopers coming in behind them and shutting them off. And then they start walking down the stairs and then they just start slaughtering people. Right. And the minute I saw that, I was like, wow, now this is the Empire I want to see. Like, you know, this is a competent military like sides that don't fall over, don't miss. You know, they're not incompetent. These people they know what they want. They're going to achieve it no matter what. And this is what you see happen. And it's hard to put into words without spoiling it. But this other than the original trilogy is the best I've ever seen the Empire. Like,
wow.
When you watch it, you actually do hate them because of what they're doing. Like, you know, and the other good thing about it, I'm going to add, is that he had the option to use Darth Vader and Tarkin and various other people. He didn't use any of them, right? Which was good. He managed to tell the story without the Emperor, unlike the sequel trilogy, I might add. And he brought Andor back from Rogue One, and he also in this season brings back director Krennic for a small parts here and there. But for the most part, a lot of these people are new actors. So, and I don't know, it just ties it up in a nice little bow, and it also makes you look at Rogue One a little differently when you get to Rogue One, because now you kind of know something about Andor as well, right? So, yeah, it's a good series. Like, if you're like me and you've hated Disney Star Wars, just give it a chance. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. What I would say is, if you've got kids younger than maybe, I don't know, 10, don't let them watch it, because it's very adult. This is adult Star Wars. This isn't, you know, Ewoks. You know, if there was Ewoks in it, I'd be getting slaughtered, mate. Like, you know, so yeah, it's an adult themed Star Wars show, and I enjoyed it. I really did. There's a character in there called Luthen, and I'll be honest, you should watch the show just for that guy, because he's a good guy, but sometimes you got to question his methods, right? He's walking that line between like good and evil, let's just put it that way, to achieve his goal. So yeah, it's good. It's really good. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I think the fact that you say it's the best representation of the Empire since like the original 3 films and Empire Strikes Back and all that sort of stuff, I think that's probably extremely high praise, because obviously I know how much you love those 3 films. So to say that, you must definitely hold it in pretty high regard. So yeah, and it sounds like because it's more adult themed. By the way, whenever you say that, it always makes it sound like it's like a porno or something, because obviously it's not.
No, that's just your mind. That's just your mind.
You can't help it. When you say like it's adult themed, you instantly go, I don't mean like adult. I mean like just adult.
It's not a bluey. It's not a bluey.
Otherwise, you downloaded the wrong one, I take it, you know, or the right one in some people's cases, you know, I don't know. But yeah, I think that it's the darker side of the dark side, which is really what you want to see, right? You want to see the dark side being quite evil, because that's what it is, you know. So the Empire, obviously, it's lining with that, seeing evil being actually done by stormtroopers and everything around that. And like you say, they don't miss every time, because they were becoming a bit of a joke, weren't they? Sort of that sort of stormtroopers, they couldn't hit the side of a barn, sort of thing. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out. I've got it sort of queued up to watch, so I will definitely in a few weeks' time report back on what I thought of it, because I genuinely haven't touched Star Wars in a long time. You know, I've seen obviously all the jokes and the memes and all the rest of it around everything that's come before. I think the last time I watched anything Star Wars, it was the first series of Mandalorian, and I definitely dropped off of that, and I didn't even watch the book of Boba Fett. Is it Boba? Yeah, that. And
that was awful.
Yeah, and then obviously the last one, whichever, what was the
Acolyte?
Acolyte, yeah, I didn't watch any of that.
Didn't even watch that.
So yeah, I'm interested in this, because I think you and a few other people have said it is that more. I'll use the word grown up rather than adult. There we go. It's a grown up version of Star Wars.
mature themed.
Oh, it's pretty close to the other one. Yeah.
I should mention, like, on the flip side of the Empire looking so evil, it also shows you the building of the rebellion and how they get to that. Cool. And so there's a lot of spy play and, like, you know, espionage going on as well.
Yeah.
It's very like intertwined. Like it's very cleverly done. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
So then Rogue One becomes like a really good way to finish the seasons, does it? You sort of watch the first two seasons and then watch the movie as kind of the climax of it all, I guess.
Yes, because like little spoiler, at the end of Andor season 2, where he's told to go is where he meets that guy at the beginning of Rogue One. And he's wearing the same clothing that he was wearing at the, so he even did his own work. It's like, oh, hang on, he had this jacket on and these trousers on. This is what he needs to wear at the end. Like,
nice.
So, yeah, it was
that's
well
cool.
done, really well done.
Yeah. And maybe that's like, I know you say like you maybe wish there'd been more seasons, but sometimes it's nice that they wrap things up in a clean way. Because how many times have we watched programs where season 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and by 7 you think, well, they're really phoning it in at this point, like, and how are they going to wrap this up? And a lot of TV shows end badly. They just don't know how to do an ending. So it sounds like because they had that, well, we're going to end at the beginning of Rogue One, they had a really defined path and therefore are able to make a really clean sort of cut at that point. So it might go down as being one of the best Star Wars things. It leads into each other as the original series, right? So the original TV movies.
The thing is, like, somebody said to me at work, and he said, like, is it worth watching? And I was like, yeah, it's really good. And he said, like, explain something that would make me want to watch this, right? So I picked out like one bit that I think if people like serious Star Wars, then they would enjoy this, right? So the character K2SO in Rogue One, right?
Yeah.
So he's a reprogrammed Imperial like droid, right? So in one of the episodes, we see a bunch of these. And we see K2SO actually as the Imperial droid before he becomes what he becomes, right? So there's a part where one of them picks this woman up, right? Throws her, like probably about 20 foot, right? She comes down in front of the camera, and obviously the camera's on the floor at this point, the way they've done it. She comes down, and as she hits the ground, she's dead, where he's thrown her so far. Like, when have you ever seen that in Star Wars? Like, that's brutal, right? Like, so they're not afraid to go there with this series, and that's why I thought it was really good. Like, you do see evil, like literally, in this show.
And Lee, you know the background of some of this stuff. Is that because there's a different director, a different set of producers? Like, why is it so different to everything else that's come out? Is there a reason for that, do you think?
Well, the funny thing is, the guy that's done it, and I forget his name, but the guy who's done it, he's actually not a Star Wars fan. However, he's good at what he does, right? So he went back and he watched everything, he's read stuff. So he knew what's gone on in the past, where Rogue One is going, and obviously everything else that surrounds it, all the original trilogy, prequels. He does a good job of meshing it all together. He clearly understands the galaxy he's working in. Pity that the rest of the Disney people can't do that. Clearly he's done it. And I think this is why it's ended up good, right? Because although I always argue that the problem with Disney is they don't use people that are fans of Star Wars in the first place, that understand it. In this case, this guy isn't a fan, but he's just a professional and very good at what he does. And so he took it upon himself to actually learn it.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of these people they've used, like Ruin Johnson and Jar Jar Abrams, they couldn't be bothered with any of that, could they? And look at the mess they made. So, yeah, I think that's why. I think it's just because the guy is a professional. He's good at what he does.
And that's often the way, isn't it? Even in our work and our job, sometimes fresh new eyes to something, a new perspective on something, someone who comes in and learns often brings brand new ideas, often are very good ideas, rather than someone who thinks they know it all and can do it all and did it always the way they've always done and aren't surprised they get the same failures time and time again. So I think there is definitely truth in that sometimes it takes someone completely new to create something interesting, and it sounds like that's exactly what's happened. So that's really interesting. So hopefully they might get an opportunity to do something else, or again someone else comes in and tries something new.
The other thing is there was a lot of money spent on it, and you can see it because I'm not even joking. Every shot in this show is beautiful. Like, you can see where the money's spent. Like when you look at a lot of this Disney rubbish, like The Acolyte and all that rubbish. Not that I watched it, but I've seen bits of it. It looks terrible. It all looks like it's been done in a dodgy soundstage somewhere. That's not how Andor looks at all. Like, it looks Like it looks like it belongs in Star Wars. All of it does. And you know, there's these slow sweeping shots and slow motion shots and that. And you know, it's so well done. Like when you look at it, you're like, wow, this actually looks like a world that would exist. Like, do you get what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You know, like it's really good. Even just looking at it, it's great.
Nice. Excellent. Nice one. Thank you for that. Chef, you mentioned Facebook. Again, another seamless link. You talking about Facebook and stuff. I believe you had some absolute bangers on Facebook recently? Have you still a big believer in the Facebook marketplace? Is that still your place to go? I don't know. Tell me about your Facebook-ishness.
So I've always been really good with stuff on Facebook, whether it's video game related or even golf. I've even got some great stuff through there, through Facebook with golf stuff as well. And just recently, I collected some Mega Drive games actually yesterday that popped up, and I just grabbed them. And you know, I think there is still lots out there. Even I always look. I've got searches and stuff, and there is stuff out there. Yes, there's a lot of time wasters, and there's some people who believe they may have the holy grail when it comes to their pricing. But I'm here to tell them it's not been written by Jesus or Hellzebub. It's just a copy of Double Dragon on the Super Nintendo. Just to let you know. But no, there's lots out there, and so I collected some games yesterday, and I paid, I think it was £40 in the end, and they're 5 good games that are worth way more than that. And I've also got some other bits to collect tomorrow and the next day. That say there's just plenty out there, and whether it's a toy, a figure, whether it's a video game, a TV, you know, there's someone now local selling Laserdisc movies, but he's extremely expensive. I think he's someone who thinks again he's got gold. But there's people out there who's, you know, as you know, Martin, sell all sorts of stuff on there, and you know, there is good stuff there. Obviously, you need to have the cash because obviously a lot of people don't want to do transfers and PayPal, which I totally get that. But there's loads of deals out there, and I think it's definitely somewhere where if you're on it a little bit, like I'll normally wake up and I'm on it, and then in the evening I'm on it as well, or during the day if I get a notification, I'm collecting stuff locally to where I work, or I'm sending family members to collect stuff, which I've done a few times. You know, but there's lots out there. I mean, even like toys and stuff. I've seen some great stuff recently. In, let's say, golf bits. I've collected some nice golf bits as well. I think it's just a great avenue that I think people need to maybe say spend a bit more time. Gumtree was one that I used to get loads of good stuff on. But Gumtree seems to have gone the other way now because obviously Facebook has really taken off when it comes to the selling page, because I remember before there was no marketplace. It was just people would post stuff on groups and I would hoover stuff up, and now marketplace you can, you know, there's so much on there, people selling anything and everything. But I don't know about if you two have had any luck out there, but I've definitely had lots of luck when it comes to Facebook.
Interesting, because I always feel like, I don't know if Nerdy Geezer feels like that because we both live in the same area. I feel like we are just starved of good things in this area, because whenever I see like yourself or even like Cy up in Birmingham way or Scott over in Ipswich way and all these other places that people seem to be, you seem to be surrounded by like crazy offers, like, hey, 5 Mega Drive games for 40 quid. Like, I don't think I've ever seen that in sort of the Southeast London, Kent border where we are. It just doesn't happen. And I don't know if that's because we're so close to London, literally like 10 miles from central London as the crow flies. Like, it's like there's the density of people, therefore these things pop up and disappear straight away. I don't know what it is, but vice versa, you'd also think, well, if there's more dense people, then more people will be advertising things on there. But my experience is very, very few interesting things. the classic stuff I have picked up on Marketplace, and I'll come to you in a second and ask yourself. Like, I've gotten like a few good bikes for the kids and stuff like that. I don't think I'd ever buy a new bike now, like ever. I think Facebook is an amazing place to go and get a bike that's probably never been touched. It's gone into someone's garage and it's there. I've picked up one Commodore from back in the day, and that was the classic old lady who had one on the box, and it was the C64 D that I've got, I think, that I got from that. But yeah, just very little in the way of deals. Nerdy Geezer, what's your experience like of our friendly neighborhood Marketplace?
I've picked a couple of bits up through Marketplace. I remember I got a limited edition Xbox 360. Is it the E? I got a blue one of them off someone locally at one point for a very good price. But for the most part, I tend to get things off the pages. Like I buy bits off a lot of these groups, you know. Like for example, Lexi's Toy Loft, I buy bits off there all the time. And some of the other toy groups, like I recently picked up a couple of Supernaturals off one of them. So, and I find that actually some of them do sell stuff at very reasonable prices. The two Supernaturals I picked up were a great deal. I picked two Ghostling Supernaturals up, I think, for £40. You go on eBay, you'll pay that for just one of them.
Wow.
So I thought that was more than reasonable. Of course, the other bonus is for a group is you can pay for it straight through PayPal and they post it there. You ain't even got to go anywhere. So, you know, so I found I had better success with that. Also, the other thing is I found with Marketplace, you can get a few time wasters and also sometimes some dodgy people on there too. Not going into detail on what it was or where it was, but recently Chef put me onto something, and I'll be honest. I'll be honest. The minute I was talking, something felt off. Something felt off, and so I didn't go ahead with it. You know, so too eager. Let's just say that. Like I thought, yeah, what's going to happen? Am I going to turn up to meet you somewhere and then get mugged of me money or something? Like what's going on here? It just, I don't know. Something didn't seem right. You know that old saying: "If something's too good to be true, then it probably is." Right? You know, so
I think it's your background in security, Lee. You're very keen-eyed and suspicious of these sorts of things. You're very good at maybe sniffing out what might. I'd have probably just turned up and probably been mugged in the alleyway, but you know, you were hot on it. So well done.
Well, the thing is, like one of the things that give it away for me, I've never been in contact with someone over something on Marketplace, and then when I haven't answered them straight away, they've messaged me. Like that never happens. Like, you know, so, and I had this from the same person for a couple of days, and I thought, yeah, something ain't right. You're too eager. What's going on here? Like, you know, so you do get some, like, I'm not saying everyone on Marketplace is dodgy, but you do get some interesting characters on there. Let's just say that. Whereas I find when you're using a group, you've not really got that issue because you pay through PayPal, it gets posted to you. You've not got to meet up with these people. You haven't got that problem, you know. So, yeah, that's how I get around it.
So, Chef, do you have what? You know, I don't want you to give away the secret sauce, but like, you know, what are some tips for finding deals on Facebook Marketplace? Is it targeting the OAPs, which I'm sure is what you do?
Do you know what it is? I always find is a really good tactic is someone would, like, this particular person had these Mega Drive games, but when you go on their profile, there's no other games, no nothing, or whatever. There's no console. The rest of the stuff's like ornamentals, like bloody vases and stuff in it. So when I messaged, I said, "Oh, you know, have you got any more?" And then we've got more, but I need to find them and blah blah blah. So it's always asking that question as well. Like, just have, like, especially on Facebook, you can look at their profile. When I say profile, I don't mean what they look like. I mean their selling profile, because I said that to my missus. My missus said to me, "Why are you checking out other women and men? Like, what's wrong?" And I said, "No. You can actually check what they're selling. So you can see."
We believe you, Chef. We believe you. Many wouldn't believe you, but I definitely do. Yeah,
we keep that between us three and the thousands listening. But you can, like Lee was saying, I sent Lee I forgot his name now, the fire truck transformer. I thought his name. Inferno? No, it isn't. Yeah. But you know, like you can go on their listings, you can see what else they've got, and you can kind of work out if they're genuine in it or not. And the one I sent Lee was a very extremely good price, and I said it straight to Lee. I was like, "Mate, this is like super cheap." Like he knows anyway, but it didn't pan out. But then sometimes you go onto some people's pages and they just got loads of stuff, and you just know they're just a reseller. And they're going through the charity shops or the car boots, which is absolutely fine. Like I said before, everyone has to make their rent or make their mortgage or whatever they're doing, or whatnot. But I think that at the same time there is some good stuff. You just got to be a bit patient, and you got to be willing to travel there and then. If I didn't get these games there and then yesterday, I definitely wouldn't have got them because someone else would have swooped in. You know what I mean? You got to be kind of ready to go, ain't you?
Yeah, and listening to you talk, I already know that, like, for instance, you said, like, you might check it when you wake up, you might check it over lunch when you're eating your sandwich or something, you check it in the evening when you're sat there watching the news or whatever. And I think that's what I don't do, is I'm sporadic. When I might check Marketplace a couple of times a week. Well, that's not, it's like going to the charity, it's like when people say they do the charity shops. If you only go once a week, don't be surprised you don't find anything at the charity shop, because the people that are successful with the charity shops go every day. They make it part of the morning walking routine or whatever it is, or they and that's how you find these things. You're not just you might randomly get lucky, but the reality is the people that do well in these things do it all the time, right? So I think that's the point. And also, like you say, be willing to drive. I don't know how far because obviously I normally have the thing set on like, a 10-mile radius or something, but maybe if I opened it up to further and further, you'd be willing to drive a couple of hours, maybe you probably find the things.
Mine's a 50-mile radius.
Right, there you go. Which is that's a big radius, right? That's a big.
So, and I stay clear of London. Like I keep to like, imagine Enfield. I mean, I'm obviously I'm in Epping. I'm London, but I'm not London. I'm outside, but I'm keeping on the outskirts because I don't want to be I don't want to go into London because it can be a nightmare anyway, personally. So I'm sticking to the areas that I know that majority of people have probably got this stuff lying around, or vice versa. Like, someone I know who can get stuff in Stevenage, someone I know who can get something in Whittam, local friends and family. If go and get it now, get it. That's what I do. And then again, I travel. Like if I go to work and I'm in Stalford, and then I'm looking around there as well, and I'm popping out if I have to pop out and get something, because like I said, these people want hold stuff, because unfortunately the people that mess others around cause huge problems, because where you might not be able to go today, but you're definitely going to go tomorrow and collect it, but you can't, because people messed it up for you, so you have to go and get it there and then, because they're not going to hold it. So it's just, like I said, you got to be hot to trot.
And it sounds like what you're saying is, to summarize, there's still deals to be had on Facebook. Facebook Marketplace is the place to do it. Maybe not so much the boot fairs, maybe not so much eBays and the CEXs, but the Facebooks are the way to go. But also, I guess, do your homework a little bit on the sale, as you said there, Nerdy Geezer. Do a little bit of research into what it is they're potentially buying, who they are. Maybe check out their profile, not for their pictures, obviously, Lee, but for their
you can do.
history. And maybe also take something with you to verify, the screws to maybe take apart, or the little screwdrivers to take apart the cartridge, make sure they're genuine cartridges or whatever it is. Do make sure you do your due diligence, because often these things are very hard to return, right? If you bought something,
correct,
you kind of accept the fact that it's on a no return basis, right? You sold as seen, is, I guess, that is the thing people would say. So awesome. Right. Well, look, I thought we might have a little sort of wrap up on what we've been playing at the moment. So whether that be a bit of tabletop or video games or anything like that. So maybe I'll come to, actually, Chef, continue. Yeah. What sort of what have you been up to gaming wise?
So I've now moved on to Assassin's Creed Mirage, which I finished Odyssey. I've still got the I downloaded some DLC. I paid a bit to get the little DLC. It wasn't expensive, so I'm going to go back and finish that. But I finished the main game. I haven't got Valhalla, whatever you bloody called. That's the next one in line. I haven't got it. And then it's Mirage, which is set. I think it's a bit unusual. This one is set in. Oh God. Middle East. I can't think where it is now. Anyway, he's set in the Middle East. I've only just started playing it. It's pretty good. I really enjoyed Odyssey, so I'm hoping to get into that. I've been playing a little bit of Last Faith on the Switch, which is a Metroidvania kind of game, which is pretty good. I'm finishing up Dredge at the minute as well, because I'm nearly finished that. And I've been playing a bit of Rockman Mega Man 3 and Rockman Mega Man 4 on my Sharp Twin Famicom. That's what I've been doing recently, my good friend.
Nice. You're loving a bit of Assassin's Creed. Obviously, we talked about Assassin's Creed not long ago, and you're on a bit of an Assassin's Creed. Are you going to do them all? You're going to that's a lot of gaming to do them all, but yeah, that's.
Well, I'm still playing Shadow, but I kind of put it away because it was my birthday recently, and my youngest said, "Oh, Daddy, I'll buy you a couple of games," and she bought me a Mirage because I never had Mirage.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to play them because you know yourself, they're a big game. I think I've done 101 hours on Assassin's Creed Odyssey, so that's a lot. That's a big old chunk, and I haven't actually finished it in terms of every single mission. I finished all the main missions, and I've done a big chunk of all the side stuff, but I haven't finished it. But Mirage is pretty good. It's very reminiscent of the old Assassin's Creed we were talking before. It's more about hiding and being an assassin so far with the old hidden blades, like in Ezio's times. It's more based around that, whereas Odyssey was a bit more like God of War.
Yeah.
One tactical fighting. But yeah, we'll see where it goes. I mean, I want to get back on Shadow, and maybe I'll buy Valhalla. I'm enjoying them.
Nice. What about yourself, Lee? Lady Geezer, what have you been playing?
So I've been playing Vengeance of Mr. Peppermint. Did a video on that a couple of videos ago. I love that game. Like it's hard. Obviously, and I know Chef will probably say this. He mentioned a game to me, and I thought it was this one, and then I realised it was somebody at work that put me onto this one, and the one he was on about is very similar, but because you was on about Fading Afternoon, weren't you? You was talking about,
which looks awesome as well.
Yeah,
as much as Peppermint's awesome, this looks. I can't wait for this to come out.
Well, see, what I noticed is, similar art style, but the differences I think that are with them is that with the one I'm playing, you've got to be very strategic because, for example, if you try and run through the level like most side-scrolling beat-em-ups, you will collect loads of bad guys to a point where you can't fight them all. There's too many, and then any weapons you see along the way, which are things like plant pots or hammers on the floor, or maybe you can hang someone on a meat hook. You have to be sort of strategic in how you do it because you can only use them once. Whereas what I got looking at the trailer for that Fading Afternoon, it looks like you can use a lot of different weapons and you probably keep them for quite some time. Like looking at that one, you can use swords and guns and all sorts, can't you? Whereas a lot of the game I'm playing, a lot of it's bare hand and you just pick up a weapon for one shot. Once you put a hammer in someone's head, it's gone. You then got to use your hands again or your feet. So,
what are you playing it on, by the way? Sorry, what are you playing it on?
Playing it on Steam on the PC. There is a problem with it because someone watched my video and they said underneath, "Oh, you got to get the combos and that, makes the game easier." And I was like, "Yeah, the problem I've found is that there seems to be some sort of delay. So when you're trying to do the combos, it messes all the buttons up in the combo. So trying to do the combos is a real problem at times when I've tried it. So it's kind of like a shame that it's not had like a Switch release or something, because I would probably buy it for that because it would probably run a little bit more fluid on the Switch, So, but yeah, good game. The other thing I've been playing is I mentioned this in the group the other day. which was funny because straight away Sega Zombie shot it down. You know, Sega aficionado. I picked up like a cheap, what they call a At Games Genesis handheld, and I'll tell you why I picked it up, because Kara's already got one, and it's the Mega Drive version, right? And if you looked at them separate, you'd think they were the same, just different colors. But actually, when you look at them properly, the American one, the Genesis one, is bigger, better screen, and it's got more games on it. And if you look on
nice.
eBay, it goes for like 30 quid more than the other one. So I managed to bag it anyway. I got hold of it. I think I ended up paying like 12 quid for it, something like that, from a charity shop. And yeah, I've been playing like some of the games on here, like Shinobi 3 and Shadow Dancer and Alex Kidd. The thing with that is their one got much better games and more of them. So you can see why it probably fetches a bit more money. But the reason I've been playing it, I've got plenty of emulation devices. I've got a Mega Drive. I've got all these things, right? But it comes in handy when Kara's watching her rubbish, The Good Wife program. You know, I can sit there, put my headphones in, and just sit on the sofa next to her and play that. You know, so that's what I've been doing the last few nights, sitting there playing on that while she's watching her rubbish. So yeah, it's like I say, it's probably not the best way to play these games, but sometimes it's the more convenient way to play them, right? So sometimes it's not always about how you're playing it, it's what's more convenient. So yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Nice. I mean, myself, in the last month, I've probably played more Warhammer 40k tabletop edition, so the actual physical board game or war game, more than any other time. Like, me and James have been, obviously off the back of Adepticon that we went to last month, we came back with a real renewed love of the game, and actually me getting into the game even more. I've never painted so many miniatures. I've never played with so many miniatures and played so many games. So that's the tabletop stuff, and we've been really enjoying it. I recently just went through a whole exercise of cutting. I've got these massive neoprene mats, like giant mouse mats that we use for like terrain boards, and they've just changed the size of the game. The mats are now slightly smaller, so I had to get a craft knife out and chop all these mats up to get them. Yeah, so but I'm really glad I've done it, and it's meant that I've also gone through all of my old terrain and armies, and I'm trying to get everything in a really nice place, because we've just had so much fun, like blowing each other up with our you know, his Tyranid monsters, or his Sisters of Battle, which are basically nuns with guns. If you ever want a cool army, Sisters of Battle, nuns with guns, you can't really get better than that. And angels with guns, where I've been playing my Grey Knights, and will be playing with my Necrons as well. So that's kind of the tabletop stuff we've been playing. I'm really enjoying it. Even getting my middle son Blake into it. He's never been into like the painting side, but he's actually started to play some of the games with us now, so teaching him the rules. And yeah, it's been really nice. Video game wise, I've been playing a game. I don't know if you guys remember, I kind of said to myself this year, I really want to give a go to a turn-based RPG. Like, it's never been my bag, and I know that some people absolutely love those games, you know, and I think I should try and play one. Well, a new one came out that looked a bit up my street, and it's got a really funny name. It's called Claire Obscura Expedition 33, and if you haven't seen it, go and Google it and watch some trailers on it and stuff. And it's essentially what looks like a French JRPG. It's really weird to describe. So it is got all of the things you'd see in a JRPG type game, but for much more, I would say, a more Western audience. It's, the story is really hard to explain. You're essentially a fragment of what may have been an Earth, and every year this lady comes out and paints a huge mural on it with a number. And every time this number counts down, so it's counted down from 100, and you're now at 34 before it becomes 33. But every time she paints the number to go down, everyone of that age dies. So everyone just disappears. So you've just witnessed everyone who's 34 disappear. Like, they turn into dust. They turn into flowers. Actually, they kind of like dissipate into like rose petals and stuff. It's really cinematic, really interesting. And the reason why it's called Expedition 33 is because you are now the next age. Like, your character is 33, and you know your death is on its way. Like, you have 1 year before you die, and everyone else around you. So the expeditions each year go out to find out who is the paintress, what is going on? How can we stop it? Can we stop the cycle from happening? Because obviously every year it's going to keep counting down until there's nobody left eventually. So yeah, and the art style is amazing. The voice acting is fantastically well. The character you're playing, I think, might be, or at least looks like it is, Robert Pattinson. You know, Batman. It looks. Just check it out. It's very much looks like him. But yeah, just a super interesting story. I'm only a few hours in. Apparently, the story is quite a slow burn before you really find out what's going on. But it just looks so cinematic and so interesting. And of course, it's got that turn-based combat. So you setting up your moves, you know, picking from menus, choosing which character you're going to attack. There's some quick time events in there to try and make it sure you get the most powerful maneuver off. And then they attack back. There's a parry system. There's a magic system. There's all sorts. So it's quite involved from that point of view. But it looks and plays fantastic. So that's the big thing that I've been playing at the moment. And I don't know if I'll see the end of it. I hope I can stick with it and play it. And it's kind of a test of, are these kind of turn-based RPGs for me? I don't know. Have you guys ever played any turn-based RPGs before? Is it your bag or?
No.
Chef, which ones have you played or?
Most of the Final Fantasies I've played.
Okay.
So
yeah.
from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up until I think 13, and I kind of dwindled away. I got 15, and is the newest one 15? Because I think you bought it.
The newest one.
16.
Yeah. So
16, but I've never played it yet.
Yeah, and that's probably because the reason why I liked Final Fantasy 15 and Final Fantasy 16 is because they're much more action based. It's real time combat. Yeah. I think you can turn on turn based.
Yeah,
but most of it plays more like a Devil May Cry game or a God of War game. Yeah. You know, it's much more action than it is the traditional. Like if you're playing Final Fantasy 7, which is the one everyone goes on about, that's obviously very turn based combat and things like that. So. I highly recommend. If you've not heard of it, it's kind of one of these. It's lots of people talk about it like it's a 10 out of 10 game, like it's going to be a Game of the Year nomination, all that sort of stuff. It sort of came out of nowhere. It's a very small development team, very sort of niche, and definitely worth checking out. I think you can play it for free on the Xbox Game Pass. I bought it. Yeah, I bought it on Steam and then found out I could play it for free on the Xbox Game Pass. So one of those rookie mistakes. Yeah. So yeah, that's a tip for anyone. Make sure you check your PlayStation Plus and your Xbox Game Pass before you buy a game, because you might find it's there. And another example of how good the Xbox Game Pass is, right? So yeah, that's been the main game I've been playing, and obviously now. Tinkering with the Steam Deck, sort of leading into that really. I now have a Steam Deck. I've bought it from Sega Zombie back off the weekend. We just had a visit with him, and most of my gaming has been finding out what that thing is capable of. So I'm not going to go into too deep, because I'm actually going to talk about it probably next time when I've had more time to play with it. But my first impressions of the Steam Deck is very, very good, especially, and I think this is what I'm going to say on the next talk, is even for a non-PC gamer, a Steam Deck I think would be a great way to get hold of a bunch of really good games and not know you're playing a PC and just be playing a handheld console So yeah, I'm going to save that for our next discussion when I've had a proper month to play with it. But yeah, that's been my sort of gaming at the moment. Brilliant. Well, let's quickly just check in. What's everyone up to? Chef, anything going on in your world for the next month?
Car boot this weekend. I've been frequenting some car boots. I've picked up a few bits recently. Gaming wise, I'm just trying to think. I'm just still going to be playing these games. I've just downloaded Doom. Oh god, what's the new Doom? Sorry, the Middle Age one.
Doom Eternal. It's Doom Dark Ages.
Dark Age. I've just downloaded it on the Xbox. So now you're talking about the other game. I'm going to download that. I'm going to probably play that tonight. Give it some time. I've been playing Indiana Jones as well, on and off. Because I've not played Indiana Jones game for years. I've been playing.
I heard it was boring.
Yeah. You're probably
I'd love to get you. We'll make sure those are topics for next time, because I'd love to hear about Doom. Given Doom's history, I think Doom would be a great topic for us to talk about, and how the new ones compare and such like that. Yeah, that's really cool. What about are we expecting a swap shop anytime soon? Oh, couldn't even say that. No, he said a shop.
Oh, okay. The next one will be in June. We had the one last Sunday. So June swap shop would be good. I'm just going to check the date now that you sprung it on me.
Yeah,
it'll be the 29th of June. Will be that one.
Nice.
Which should be good. I mean, this one we've had just now was good as well. So nothing else from me. I've got a massive pickups video to do, and I just have not done it because I've been playing my games, ladies and gents, playing games, golfing, and doing these podcasts. That's what I've been doing.
Nice, excellent stuff. Nerdy Geezer, what about yourself?
So I've just got a couple of pickups videos to do. Got one for the Nerdy Geezer channel because I picked up a load of games and various other bits. And one for my movies channel because I've been picking up a lot of films, as you guys know. I've been talking to you, all the films I've been watching over the last couple of weeks. Yep. I had some time off work and I thought, well, let's watch something nostalgic. So nice. Yeah.
Cool. I mean, for myself, I'm still cracking on with me Monday Night Retros. I really enjoyed the last one I just did, which was back with the Commodore 64. It's just my happy place, either the Amiga or the Commodore 64. I have crazily got a Spectrum that I need to do a video on and talk about. I know. It even hurts when I say it. It's I can feel myself coming out in hives and everything. But it is something I want to do. I'm going to something called UK Games Expo this weekend, so I'm really looking forward to that. It's a great event, so I'll definitely talk about that next time. Like I say, I'm really excited about getting in depth with the Steam Deck, so maybe I'll even do a video on that and why I think it's not just for, it's not just a great device for PC gamers, but for all those people out there that say I'll never be a PC gamer, I think you're potentially missing out on some amazing games. One, you can get ridiculously cheap, and two, play in a without thinking you're a PC gamer. So I think there's something in that as well. But I'm also doing lots of 3D printing at the moment, and I know, Chef, you're entering the world of 3D printing, so I can't wait to get and talk about that and help you with your current situation in that phase.
Oh my
god! Painting miniatures, all of that stuff. I'm just really enjoying the hobby at the moment, so it's really very nice. It just leaves me to say once again, if you've managed to get this far in listening to us ramble on about all of our things, I hope you enjoy it again. I hope these are continuing to be part of your listening schedule. And if you are, give us a comment, give us a like, give us those things to give us some indication that people are out there listening. And if this is your first episode, thank you very much. And there's other 7 episodes you can go and listen to if you want. And hopefully we get better with each one. I know there's always an issue with each one, so hopefully, I can seamlessly get past those. But thank you for spending the last hour and a half with us, and we will see you hopefully not too long away. I don't think the next one will be as distant away as this one. We try and keep it to every 4 weeks, but of course, real life sometimes gets in the way. But we're trying to keep to as good a schedule as we can. And I think we'll leave it at that. So thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
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 Bye, Dory.
Bye, Dory. Bye, everybody.
Joystick and let's explore pixel worlds behind that door. Dice are rolling, the board begins. Nerdy vibes for the wins. It's Geek. metaverses to virtual zones, the nerdiest fuel we've ever known. Laughing loud with geeky flair, 3 friends bond in the air. Join the chat, grab a seat for the stories that can't be beat. Sharp opinions and loads of fun in this geeky realm we've spun. Join the chat, grab a seat for the stories that can't be beat. Sharp opinions and loads of fun in this geeky realm we've spun.